Wild and Wonderful and Paranormal West Virginia by Denver Michaels. Narrated by Denver Michaels. Chapter 1. Wild and Wonderful. There are places that make me feel uneasy. I can't really explain it. It's a feeling I get from time to time, something that nags at me and makes me feel uncomfortable. There are a few spots in Pennsylvania that I've driven through that gave me this feeling. A visit to southern New Jersey's infamous Pine Barrens left me with a general sense of uneasiness. The dark, the gloom, the eerie quiet. It was easy to understand why the Jersey Devil makes this vast stretch of forest its own. Of course, there are other places that give me the creeps. The area around Burkittsville, Maryland is such a place. The quaint small town might ring a bell. You may remember it from the low-budget horror film The Blair Witch Project. Just outside of town, at the bottom of Spook Hill, if you stop your car and put it in neutral, it'll start moving on its own uphill. It's pretty creepy. They say there's a scientific explanation. I believe the local rumor. The ghosts of Civil War soldiers who believe they're still at war are pushing artillery uphill into position. I have reason to feel uneasiness and a sense of dread when traveling through Garrett County, Maryland. Twice I've dreamed of dying there. Vivid dreams. In the last dream, which occurred more than a decade ago, my body was lying on the side of a winding country road. I was floating above my body, watching the white water of a fast-moving stream crash against the rocks. Needless to say, I have my head on a swivel and I exercise extreme caution when I'm traveling through that neck of the woods. In West Virginia, there are literally dozens of places that make me feel uneasy, and I don't really know why. Something just nags at me. I've lived in the Commonwealth of Virginia my entire life, born and raised. Had big dreams of moving away as a young man, but for one reason or other I opted to stay. I was born in southwestern Virginia, about an hour west of Bluefield, West Virginia, Virginia. Much of my family's still there today. As a preteen, my family moved to the northern part of the state where the economy's much more favorable. I said all that to say this. All my life I've been within about an hour drive of the West Virginia line. With that in mind, I've always taken an interest in what goes on in the mountain state, particularly the eastern and southern counties. And what really draws my attention to West Virginia, strange phenomena. Virginia has many ghosts. More battles were fought in the Old Dominion during the Civil War than any other state. It seems as if those bloody battles left something behind which haunts the battlefields and areas around them to this day. Of course, in Virginia, like anywhere else, UFOs frequent the skies and weird creatures swim in the water. My home also has its share of Sasquatch reports, especially in the western part of the state, where there's more than 1.5 million acres of national forest land. On a side note, I've investigated several areas in western Virginia where Sasquatch sightings have taken place. However, I've not been able to find anything of substance to corroborate the reports. West Virginia also has its share of Bigfoot sightings, ghosts, UFO reports, but it has much more. I see West Virginia as one of the, if not the, premier locations for cryptids and paranormal activity east of the Mississippi. I'm not alone. West Virginia as a paranormal location has not been lost to a number of television producers. As of this writing, Destination America has 2 shows set in West Virginia, Ghosts of Shepherdstown and Mountain Monster. A perfect location for strangeness. West Virginia has always kind of puzzled me. Is it a southern state, a northern state? It definitely doesn't feel like a northern state. I consider it to be the northernmost southern state. With that being said, much of the area along the Ohio River seems to have a bit of a rust belt, or almost midwestern feel. West Virginia is a perfect place for cryptids to dwell. The mean elevation in the state is 1,500 feet, the highest average altitude east of the Mississippi. About 80% of West Virginia is covered in forest. It's in these sparsely populated wooded hills that mysterious creatures reside. Strange black cats, Bigfoots, canines that walk upright, peculiar flying creatures, and more. In addition to strange creatures, West
Sample complete. Ready to continue?